I'm Giant and I'm going to be celebrating Warner Bros. 100th anniversary by saying how they can do the new shows that they announced for Cartoon Network. Me also saying some completely original ideas for some cartoon shows, just to prove to you animators and the fans that they're not running out of ideas and there's still a lot you can do with animation. And Cartoon Network should do the Kids Next Door sequel series because of them being even more relevant in the modern day, them being able to go against abusive parents and them helping poor kids in real life. Cartoon Network should also do the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy movie because the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy needs an ending and the creators actually wants to do it. Same thing with the Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends sequel series because of them being able to do more things with the Blue Super Dude. And you can also have cameos from the other Cartoon Network shows in there. For Unicorn's Warrior Channel, it being good because of it being an action show and because it's done by Dendy Kurakovsky, the same guy who did Symbiotic Titan and Samurai Jack. And for Yano, it's good because of it being Africa's version of Avatar The Last Airbender. And it is good them doing a show that shows how good kids are again. And for Gremlins Secret of the Mogwai, it is good Warner Bros. Showing more stuff from the Gremlins movies. Because of Gremlins being one of Warner Bros. Best movies and one of the best horror Christmas movies in general. The animation looks good and it does look like they have an all-star voice cast. And for the other kinds of Chinese monsters the main characters would come across in the show, you can do Gemo, the Spider Queen, because of it being one of the most iconic spirits from Japan. And it would be perfect for a horror story, which would be good because if you're exploring the horror part of Gremlins that was shown in the original movie. And Kitsune, because of her being another one of Japanese most iconic spirits. And she would be the perfect spirit for them to do stories with. And it is an awesome spirit and you would be able to do some fun and playful stories with it. And Invincible Fight Girl looks good because it's about wrestling. Just I also hope they focus on heartwarming moments and not just comedy moments in it. And for Adventure Time Fiona and Cake, you can use it to show more R-rated stuff but in a mature way that Adventure Time never could. And you can also use it to have the other Fiona and Cake characters in there and to show how they're different from the original Adventure Time characters. And you can just explain that Fiona and Cake are actually from another part of the multiverse, and that the crown had a psychic link to it, and that's why Ice Cream dreamed about them. But it was all jingled up from when the crown got it because of it making Ice Cream crazy, so that's how he saw it. And the reason why the bunny woman found the true version of it is because her technology interacted and connected to the signal from Ice Cream's crown, and because it clearing the signal, that's why she saw the true versions of it. With this being set after the last episode in Adventure Time, and after Finn and Jake reincarnated together. Also, you should make it that Frismo is the one who put them on this mission, because of it being more powerful than him and dampening his powers. And because of him being a caring person, him helping Simon get over Betty. And it would be nice seeing him party with Fiona and Cake and the other cosmic beings. We'd also see how he has such a good friendship with the Cosmic Owl. Then in the last episode, after Fiona and Cake weakened the new villain of the show, and they stop him from dampening Frismo's powers, Frismo would be able to defeat the new villain of the show. And Simon would free Betty from Gulp and Simon would reunite with Betty. And for cartoons, it being a good idea having the Cartoon Network characters interact with each other and it being about the Cartoon Network shows. For the Amazing World of Gumball movie and for the Amazing World of Gumball sequel series, you can actually say what the show means to so many other fans in this. And with Gumball needing to team up with Rob to do it, and with them needing to do impressive things with their number one fan to stop their show from getting cancelled. Gumball finding out that his show is better than he thought, because of so many fans caring about it, and because the way the original show ended, In the last season that they ended it with being so bad, you can just say it being a bad season on purpose so they can do this in the sequel Sewing movie. And in the last episode, Gumball and Rob would have to work together to save Elmore from the other place by using stuff from the Awesome Store to get Elmer out of the other place. And there should also be more Lego shows on Cartoon Network. Like we have a Lego show based on the construction part of Lego, and some of Cartoon Network's best modern shows are their Lego shows. So why don't you do a Lego show that has a bunch of interesting things in it where interesting things happen in it? Like it being sci-fi and magic, and it being based in a city filled with mythical creatures, monsters, robots, and aliens, and boxers, wrestlers, samurai, and ninja. It doesn't have to be like that. This is just one of the examples of how they could do it. And there should also be some new Squatch and Stretch cartoon shows on Cartoon Network. Because look how well it turned out for the Animaniacs in the 90s. There should also be more 3D animation shows on Cartoon Network. Because you're using 3D models, so you won't have to keep drawing everything all over again. And there are ways you can do 3D animation for free so it won't cost you so much. And with 3D animation becoming one of the best kinds of animation, you being able to find it out from Studio B. This is not a commercial, me just doing it because of me having friends there and because of me actually finding things out from them. Plus, it would be able to look much better than the usual cartoon show. And there are a lot of new 3D animators out there, so they can get those guys to work for them. And usually whenever Cartoon Network has a 3D show, it being one of their best shows and the story being better than usual. And you should also have more live action shows in Cartoon Network since they're already getting back into that anyways, and I actually really like some of the live action shows like Level Up. And if Jimmy Out of My Head is so bad of a show, why did Disney do a cheap knockoff version of it with Kirby Buckets? You should also do more game shows on Cartoon Network. It doesn't need to be similar to Total Drama. It could be a game show based on Cartoon Network like how the Ben 10 Ultimate Challenge was based on Ben 10. Or a quiz show. Are you doing a quiz show where people ask you questions about Cartoon Network characters? Or it being a show like Total Drama in live action? Are you doing two more Ben 10 game shows? Because the reboot game show can't be the thing they end off with. And they are doing a new Ben 10 series, a new Ben 10 live action series, and a new Ben 10 live action movie, so this would be a perfect way to cash in on it. And this being for the live action shows and the cartoon shows. And there needs to be more cartoon versions of grown-up shows made for kids. Like a show where you find things out about animals, but it being stuff like dragons and dinosaurs. Or a show where you explore a place, but it being a made-up place. This way you'd find out more stuff about stuff people already know, but it would be interesting. And with them being able to make up their own history, it would be even more interesting. And since one of Disney's best shows is a cop show, but it being sent in the prison that every kid's parent sends them to even if they've been good, then Cartoon Network could do a cop show, but the thing that makes it interesting for kids is it being a space cop show. Especially since Warner Brothers has been known to do stuff with space cops in general, like Green Lantern and Ben 10. And space cops are iconic because of that and them being better than the usual cop shows. You can even make it there being some different things in there, like the cops dressing up like superheroes. You can do the main characters being demons and aliens and humans. You can also use them going up against a cult to tackle religion, and them dealing with hate crimes to tackle racism like in real life with cops and soldiers. And if you don't want this show to be completely a cop show, you can also have other characters with other jobs in there. Like some astronaut friends of theirs that are peace-loving, some soldiers, and we see how cops deal with the military, or some magic firemen, or surgical doctors that use both science and magic. and some TV news reporters. You can even make it that podcasts and true crime podcasts are the usual for how people know what's going on in the world in this show. And that those guys are humans, demons, and aliens too. And for how it would all be connected, you can just make it that all these characters know each other, and the show being about one guy from each dream job. Or a house maintenance show where they fix up a house for someone. But for how it would be a good cartoon for kids specifically is them fixing up haunted houses for monsters and superhero lairs for superheroes. And what would make this different from other home renovation shows is that you would be using house elves to fix up the houses. In this show, house elves would work like this. They stop houses from getting haunted by ghosts, and for the haunted houses that exist in the world, that's because the house elves failed at it, or because the ghosts are the guys living in the house, so the house elves don't kick them out of it. They also fix all the little things in the house that humans just think happen by themselves. And they stop the house from falling apart and stop it from being destroyed for a while. And they get paid in people's things that go missing. So when someone loses something and they don't know how they lost it, it being because the house elves taking it from them. And there should also be more sports shows on Cartoon Network. Because of it being in a cartoon, you can do something interesting with it. A football show where monsters play against other monsters. An alien basketball team going up against an evil alien basketball team. A show where superheroes save the world by playing against supervillains in a game of soccer. A squats and shirts cartoon hockey team. And you also being able to do other interesting things with it. Like you making up your own way of playing baseball, you making up some sports. You do a sports game working like a video game, with there being lots of power-ups in it, and you can also make it there being a lot of traps, and the main characters having powers in the sports game. In fact, I would love to see a show as a combination of all those things. And also, you should do more shows about people having a crazy job at a place. Like someone being an actor, or someone being a part of a rock band, or someone being a monster hunter. And there should also be more variety shows on Cartoon Network because look how well the Animaniacs reboot turned out to be. Or someone being a famous sports guy, or someone being a famous chef, or someone working in a toy factory, or someone being an animator. And there should also be more culture shows, and more diverse shows, so that people can be introduced to other countries in the world, and so people would find out how good those other countries are. Plus, for there to be cartoon heroes for people from other countries, for kids from those countries to relate to. And also, so people from other countries would be glad that there's a show about a guy from the same country as them. We are starting to already see that with Victor and Valentino, Ianu, Jade Artmer, and Monster Beach, but we really should be seeing more of that, which is why they should show even more shows that take place in other countries. The whole reason why I want to become an animator and a comic book writer is for there to be more Jordanian superheroes, and to have more stories take place in Jordan, and to show superheroes from all over other parts of the world, and to show there's other real life problems in real life. So this would be good for someone who isn't from America and who is from Jordan like me. Which you can actually tell because of me saying the word Baba because Baba is Arabic for daddy. I mean, that's why it was so good when Suleiman renounced his patriotism so he can help the world and not just America. And it definitely being good that he did that because now he stands for truth, justice, and a better tomorrow. Other countries like Russia, Ireland, Italy, France, Germany, Australia, Jordan, and Sweden. In fact, I would love to see a roll culture variety 3D animated Scratch and Stretch cartoon show that does all of these ideas into one. And for the other Scooby-Doo shows, you would do an R-rated or a Scooby-Doo show. It being a combination of Scooby-Doo and Zombie Island, Scooby-Doo Incorporated. Scooby Natural and Scooby Apocalypse. With you designing them similarly to Mystery Incorporated, with you not losing anything from the original design, you're just adding things to it. And you making the humans as evil as the human person Mystery Incorporated. And with it being set in a post-apocalyptic world filled with real monsters and the gang going up against real monsters in it. With the Scooby-Doo magic humor would work like in Zombie Island, Scooby Natural, and the monsters would also look like the monsters in Scooby Natural and Scooby-Doo and Zombie Island. Plus, you can also write one of the biggest wrongs of Scooby-Doo and make Scooby-Doo good at this cell. He was good in Scooby-Doo and the Mutant Werewolf, and since Scooby-Doo has crossed over with Avalanche of the Harlem Globetrotters is to Batman, you would also need a crossover with Cujo. You can also do some reading to the Scooby-Doo original characters like the Hex Girls and Vincent and Ghoul. With them also accusing solving true crimes but the use of Scooby-Doo crimes, and with them also starting serial killers by Scooby-Doo monsters. It's good you doing a good version of him to fix one of the biggest wrongs in Scooby-Doo. Then for another Scooby-Doo show you can do, it would be exactly the same as the usual Scooby-Doo thing, it's just them going up against real monsters. Then for Tom and Jerry, you do a Tom and Jerry crossover show, because they know to do good things with crossovers and crossing over with other good people like Scooby-Doo. And Scooby-Doo had two crossover shows and they were both awesome. So I'm sure it would work good with Tom and Jerry and it would be good with them specifically. And also, another Tom and Jerry show you can do is you doing a cartoon show based on the original Tom and Jerry movie. It is one of the best Tom and Jerry movies and it is more original with Tom and Jerry talking in it. And the girl in the movie is a good Tom and Jerry character. And it's just so nice to see Tom and Jerry's owner appreciate them more than the usual owners of Tom and Jerry. If you ever do stuff like the 80s and 90s shows coming back, you should do G.I. Joe and Captain Planet Tears with Masters of the Universe and Thundercats crossing over with each other in an animated movie. And because He-Man got a good reboot and do the terrible reboot, Thundercats should also get a good reboot and do their terrible reboot, and it being set in a 3D animation show. And Captain Planet and the Planeteers would have to be more like Power Rangers. And this way, you paying tribute to the 80s and 90s parts of Cartoon Network. That you should also get that Warner Bros. Went back to the old cartoons on the channel. Then after you do all this at Warner Bros. Street, you be able to make enough money to buy back all the shows and lost to the law and do a definitive to them. Like Megas XLR and some of the Looney Tunes episodes.